Welcome to the Loyal Opposition Podcast, episode number 16. I'm Bernie Flowers, one of Uncle Sam's wayward children. I believe that our country's best days are still in front of us, but if those best days are to come, we need to change the direction of the country right now before it's too late. I intend to talk about important topics every week in hopes of helping to improve our country and our way of life. This week, our guest is activist Eugene Boikai. Let's get started. My good friend, Eugene Boikai, is a proud father and a community leader who believes passionately that strong men and active fathers are the key to curing many of the social ills plaguing American cities like Baltimore. Eugene was one of the original Fab Five, a group of Black Republicans that ran for office in Baltimore in 2020 and forever changed the face of the Republican Party in Baltimore. Eugene ran for city council in District 12, one of Baltimore's most dangerous and impoverished communities, on a platform of restoring accountability and integrity to public office, as well as encouraging a sense of personal accountability and self-empowerment among the city's residents. Government cannot solve the problems in society where basic family structure has been destroyed, especially where the role of men and fathers has been undermined. Believing strongly in this mission and fueled by his own experiences with the family court system, Eugene founded Straight Fatherhood, an organization chartered to support men in their roles as fathers. He regularly mentors local youth, using his professional experience in the construction industry to help young men develop important skills and learn a trade that will help prepare them to meet the challenges of life, provide for their families, and begin to rebuild the communities that are the bedrock of American society. Hi, Eugene. How you doing today?
How you doing, sir?
Man, you just like Chris Anderson calling me sir. Man, we friends.
How you doing, Bern?
Thank you. That sounds so much better. Man, tell me about, I got a whole lot of things I want to talk to you about today because, you're a man with a lot of experience, especially about Baltimore. And, but first of all, let's start off with fatherhood. Tell me your thoughts about traditional fatherhood and how it affects the Black community.
Well, this is the funny thing, Bern. We read these, I can go ahead and read many statistics to you, and we do this all the time. We know the power of fathers. It's very important. In every community, if you do not have strong leadership, excuse me one second. Coming from the man, thank you, sir. Coming from the man, you are going to have examples like Baltimore, Chicago, Detroit. You're going to have those examples. Fatherhood is very important because regardless of what your religion may be, let's start from the Quran, the Bible. Everything tells you a man is head of household. When you take the head off the body, what you're going to have? Nature, I can lie, you can lie. Nature never lies. And these things are in these books that we have followed for many generations that produce positive results. So now let's get back to the present day. My thoughts on fatherhood, it just go backwards, right back to the simple mathematics of nature. Without a strong father, without a strong man, without that natural progression from boy leaving the mom to go to the path of the man to learn how to be a man, you will have a chaotic community. And unfortunately, this is what's happening in the Black community. When you start to go back into the 60s and the 70s, you and I both know what happened. When we Black Americans in this country, along with white Americans, Jews, and so many good God-fearing people have fought for Blacks to have the type of freedom that we have right now, in my personal opinion, abusing it and just going backwards. So when you look at cities like Baltimore, I'm going to speak about what I do know. The major factor that is triggering these crimes are fatherless homes. I'm gonna slow that down and I'm gonna pause because people take this for granted. If you look at the crime rate, if you look at incarceration, if you look at even the population of how many Black men have a job in the city of Baltimore, it will all come down to lack of training, lack of strong male role model that the
Amen.
next generation did. So fatherhood is very important. If you don't have fatherhood, if a boy do not understand how to transition into a man, how can he be a good husband? How can he be a good community leader? So that's why fatherhood, to me, we can talk about all type of legislation. Everything comes right down as a man, as an XY chromosome, to the importance of having great fathers in a community.
Outstanding. Got another question for you. You ready? All right. What are your thoughts about how to reduce violence in Baltimore?
How to reduce violence, it comes right back down to the first question you asked me. And I'm gonna put it on what am I doing even right now. So every community, let's just say, let's be realistic. When I say Italians, right? You know what I always refer Italians to? And this is just my upbringing.
What's that?
Mafia and family. When I think about the Jews, right? Jewish people,
Right.
you know what I relate them to? Business and family. Now, the question that has to come, right? When we think about Black people as a whole, what do we size up with? And the sad part about it, family is not in there. We can say entertainment, but we're not saying family, Bernie.
Good
So the
point.
question is, how do we reduce crime rate in Baltimore City? It's easily start taking how serious the structure of order of family is. We had the mayor up there putting up bills and stuff for pronouns. And I read through those bills when I came back off of vacation after I got married. And it was heartbreaking to me, but I was furious. They say, of all the crime that we are dealing with, I mean, Bernie, you don't understand. A lot of people just watch my video, they think I'm ranting and I'm going on. I literally, a man of God, do things that don't need to be out in the open. I literally don't get a war. I'm not looking for a war. I literally dealt with old people. I'm constantly, when I drive to Baltimore, I'm looking at houses that are falling apart that
Yeah.
can easily be built.
Oh,
Then
yeah.
you look at guys on the corner, loud. The drug dealers are now the drug users. They're selling drug while using the product. And you walk to places like Baltimore, my reality, that's all I can speak for. When you have a bunch of grown men that are advertising on something that is not long-term, it's not added to the community, where you have boarded homes, all because their mindset is not trained to be men. They are still boys.
Oh,
So
yeah.
they don't know that they can, with that drug they're selling, instead of getting tennis shoes, grab that house. It's paid for. And you can build it up when you have skills. You build it up when you have skills. So it is heartbreaking. We have to give men more empowerment and more confidence to say, you know what? This is my community. It's nobody else's job to bring it up. I'm
Amen.
going to take responsibility. I'm going to act like an adult and not worry about what others can do to bring jobs here, but we are going to use the avenue and even use the people that we put in leadership position to make sure they are working for the people instead of saying trigger words that is worthless like systemic racism. Okay, you are the system. What are you telling me? From the prosecutor to the police commissioner was prior to, but to the mayor, he's top dog. You are the system. If you cannot show black excellence, when you can, I saw this mayor change the police budget overnight.
Yeah.
That's power.
Mm-hmm.
So you have the power to change the police budget. On one hand, you control them, but on another hand, you're enticing people to be violent because, oh, the cops are wrong. And white cops, white cop. Well, who the puppet master in Baltimore? Baltimore of all cities, you don't have the right to claim systemic. You are the puppet master.
Yes.
So it's Bernie, we got to start having real conversation about the situations that we are dealing with, in these cities like Baltimore, because I make it clear, Baltimore is a virus. That's why it's important to me. And I'm not letting Baltimore go. Not only do I have investment in there, but Baltimore is really dear to my heart. I started a job in there without knowing the Republican Party. I have a personal vendetta of the situation that's going in. I started a job, and as long as God keep on putting those missions within my heart, Bernie, I'm gonna finish it. I'll tell you, Eugene Boikai, I will finish that. My heart would tell me when it's time for somebody else to take over being Eugene Boikai. Until that day, the overload is there, and I'm gonna keep on working with God, sending me that message through my heart to do what I have to do, because I'm protected by the Most High.
Amen. I like the way you think.
Amen.
I got another question for you.
10-4, bring it on. Don't let
All
it
right,
stop.
now. Tell me your thoughts about how to bring good jobs into Baltimore.
Okay, very simple. You see this. Well, first of all, when when you're dealing business and stuff, right?
Mm-hmm.
Is supply and demand. That's a simple concept right there, right? So let's start with that right there. Okay, first you have to start with the community if you want to bring in good jobs. People like me, like right now, my wife and I. Let me not say me, because everything we do in the business, we're partner. My
Yes.
wife and I not just look at Baltimore as a personal mission for me, but it's also an investment. So with the investment, when I ran for office, I started, one of my slogan was community empowerment.
Mm-hmm.
Before we can even bring developers, before I can even invest a dime in this, I want to make sure that I have, eventually revenue coming back from my investment. So think on that simple skills right there. Let's bring back, we got to invest in the community. And right now in Baltimore City, though it has no leaders, you have the people that have been put in place screaming systemic racism. They are dividing the community, the black and white alike. Investors, you and I know a couple of investors and people, business people, they do not want to bring business over there. How can they bring business over there? So when you start with the community, you start changing the mindset. You start getting the people to say, okay, this is where we are at. Okay, I don't want to hear about what was. What can you do as a man? What can you do? Are you taking true leadership in your community, one block at a time? When we start doing that, then we start truly, not a nonprofit, but we start truly within our community, start having safe street. Government, you see what's going on with safe streets and everything.
Oh,
It's
yeah.
being funded by the cover of men, government. So it's not affected at all. Over $20 million and more, just a write-off. I'm not saying the different in D12. So that's not effective. Let's imagine if we as men, Bernie, let's just say you in Baltimore, it starts with me and you going out in these streets and saying, listen, You will not do that on these blocks because that's what I've already done. My block still has Trump on it. My block has my signs are there. There's a certain radius, certain things just don't happen there because there are no consequences. So that's area is safe right there. Imagine if we start multiplying Eugene Boikai street by street. We
I'd
have
like to
safe
see
street.
that.
Yes, we start having safe street, right?
Mm-hmm.
Then when you start having safe street, you will see what happens, right?
Mm-hmm.
Business investors, they feel comfortable in sharing idea. That whole block right there, I'm thinking about building something over there because there's not a high crime rate in this area. I'm going to invest the hundreds of thousands or millions of dollars to bring it there. People in leadership position is their job to negotiate to say, I'm with you on that. But X amount of percentage of people, as long as jobs with people in that area is being presented, we can make a deal. Then when you start doing that, instead of my man on the corner that feels like he has to just be a drug dealer, he can take on that little skills that he learned from Eugene Boycott and the trade school. Oh, that's so much. That's so much. Let's go. But he can take that skill. He went to school to get a certification to be an electrician. Okay, we're going to need an electrician there. Now he has a job. He's not on this corner saying loud, loud, loud.
Mm-hmm.
He has a job. With a job, guess what's happening? Revenue coming into the city. He become a taxpayer. And not just becoming a taxpayer, now what do he do? He feels good. But if the standard is high, he could start as an electrician or apprentice or anything, but as long as he's working, he feels good as a man. And plus, on top of that, he can go to job without having this thing on his back. He has to worry about getting pulled over by the cops or the this. Because he's doing the right thing. He's a law-abiding citizen. Once he get good at that job, then guess what? He start thinking bigger because now he has an apartment. He's not on government assistance. He has an apartment. He wants to put things in there. He's among people of his peers to say, hey, man, you are so good at what you're doing. You need to apply for the next stage. Then his revenue start going up. And what happened, Bernie? That man is able to meet a woman or to take care of his family, feel good about that.
I
So when
like
we
it.
talk about jobbing, there's so many different avenues that we have to put in play. But the main thing is nobody wants to invest in an area that is of high crime. Nobody wants to come to a city that says crime city as pride, murder land as something of pride. I'm over here. I hear all the stories. We travel a lot. Who wants to come to a place that the name is crime city, murder land?
I
You are an
understand.
investor. You understand.
Oh,
So
I
it's a
do.
broader chain reaction. I mean, we are the place of Oria. Those seats needs to be filled, but many people don't want to go downtown because why? Simplicity. They don't feel safe.
They don't feel safe. I get
Lack
it.
of yes. So why would you want to invest in a place where the crime rate is out of control and there's lawlessness, and then your investment, the insurance, you no business, I no business. If I mess up on the job, my insurance go up high. And I'm not trying to pay high insurance.
I
I'm trying to
understand.
get high in profit and I'm trying to lower my costs.
Right.
So that's reality to grown folks. It is not reality to a bunch of people that are trying to play lead our ship.
Yeah. Well, on that note, I've got another question for you along that same line.
Yes,
I
sir.
was reading in the Baltimore Sun yesterday where 90 kids in Baltimore have been shot this year so far.
Mm-hmm.
That's terrible. As a man
Yeah.
of the people, how do we fix this problem?
Oh, I've seen it. I've seen it. I have a video that's called Five. Like
Mm-hmm.
literally, my heart broke. When I had my kids, we were in Baltimore fighting through all this, the legality of, being a father trying to hold on to his kids in this liberal city.
Right.
There is a difference. I watch a lot of kids grow up that I literally raised because they didn't have father, and then Bernie to watch them die.
Oof.
is heartbreaking, because when you're so busy distracted with something else, that door is not as open that they can come to you and share this. So
Right.
when men like me, there's lack of, guess what? There's a void that needs to be filled. You have those kids dying because that void is being filled by the wrong people. You have
Yeah.
these drug dealers. They understand the law. They understand the law. They take young kids under the age of 18 and have them doing their dirty work. Bernie, I'm not a man that, I'm not speaking outside. I'm not a social Republican. I'm not here for status or anything like that. You know, a lot of people who see me talking passionate about the things that I've seen. I stay in my lane on those. I've seen these kids die. I've seen the lawlessness.
Mhm.
That void is being filled not by people like you or people like me that are positive. When we want to talk about blackness, that are a positive role model, we don't get the spotlight. They are being voided by people that know how to manipulate the system and use these kids because they know they don't have a role model and their mind is still being developed. Remember, Bernie, these are not men. I don't care if they have men body. Their mind has not developed from the switch from a boy leaving the mother's womb and coming to his own to learn how to be a man, how to be a husband.
Right.
So as long as we ignore and stop addressing father less home, we don't pay attention to uh, the breakdown of the family, and we just talk about it as another talking. We are always gonna have that, Bernie, because those boys being they are being taken by people that know how to manipulate those kids. So they
Fair.
know they can do murder and they will be out because there's lack of prosecutor actually doing their job. We don't need no more legislation. Law is clear. Thou shalt not kill. You know, that's the Bible. Do not kill. You can't take another person's life. That is
It's
a
very
United
simple.
States law. It's
Yes,
very
sir.
simple. So when we start talking about some legislated approach, I'm like, why?
It's not going to get
Why?
it done.
Yeah, we need to execute the laws that's already on the books, and we need true leadership. Hell, there was a curfew. That curfew is gone. It was the same. So it's just like when you're not consistent, if you don't take yourself serious, who's supposed to take you serious, Bernie?
Agreed.
So our kids are dying, the murder rate's going up because there's a lot of people out there that don't have the best intention for their community that are using these young men to fill that void that these kids lack. And unfortunately, it's a death sentence. It just
Yeah.
also that it's a genocide.
Yeah. I got another question for you.
Yes, sir.
You ready?
Yes, sir.
This goes along the same lines. Mayor Scott,
Mm-hmm.
if you had to give him a grade for his
F.
mayoral term, man, I ain't even done with the sentence yet.
I know.
What would that grade be and why?
It's a F because when you get in a certain circle and stuff, you know certain details about people, their personal life, and who they truly are, not what you see on the media. So I keep my personal opinion of him, because it's not necessary. But when you talk about the legislative aspect of everything and the influence of everything, looking at him as a whole, just on his job, I want to be fair, is it's a F. And it's a complete failure because there's nothing. Vernon, you're talking about the revenue of Baltimore City, right? Guess how
Mm-hmm.
much that is?
You
It's
tell me.
30, it's 34, I mean 39 million. That's on their best day.
Mm-hmm.
This is revenue.
Yeah.
Now, I'm gonna say this again. This is revenue. Now, Baltimore City, the state of Maryland is about to get Baltimore $1 billion.
Yeah.
overall. $1 billion. For the physical years of 2013, you're talking about almost $4 billion. 3.4 something $billion that the mayor, now mind you, the mayor, young kid, Afro, that has this systemic, oh, this is systemic. This is the man, this is the child that is playing. This is the black-faced child that has the power to spread out almost $5 billion.
$1 billion. Yeah.
Are we clear?
Yeah, we clear.
He is the system. He is the go-to guy. Forget my personal opinion. He is numero uno, the top dog, the system changer, the black superhero. If he could be, if he was built for that. But that's not him. And this is where the conservative, the way of life, and the liberal ideology really means something.
Right.
Which idea really produce results? He has an F. He isn't showing me anything of results. I mean, hell, the crime rate is still on track of going over 300 this year, as long as
Every
it's
year.
staying on court. But Bernie, I don't want to just pass over this as just talking numbers, right? I
Yes,
want
sir.
you to really look at this from, and I don't play the race card, but I'm going to be honest because they like to do that. Let's be honest, black man to black man of what I'm seeing.
Yes, sir.
Think about slowly what I just said. You have over 300, you hear me? Young black men that will never get the chance to make the mistake that I made. And I
Yes.
was able to find my way to be a very positive force in a community. You have 300, and I'm saying this per year, Bernie.
Oh, yes.
300 lives that will be genocide. When you look at others' community, because a lot of people like to look at those things. Bernie, for hundreds of years, you know where I'm at right now. Ask me how many black men, because we do our research on anything before we dip into it. Ask me how many black men has died in this community.
Tell me, Eugene.
I'll tell you, Bernie. I'm glad to tell you. Zero. Zero. And I'm talking about generation to generation. So when we sit down, we really look at the reality of the situation, and we really start being adults about the situation. We have a responsibility to take to hold a lot of people that are already appointed that's supposed to hold that title of lead our ship, leadership.
Yeah. Right.
There can only be one captain on the ship. And that captain, if he has any honor, no matter what happened to that ship, what is he always going to say? I'm going down with my ship because it was my responsibility.
There you go.
When do we start having these leaders like Brandon Scott start taking those responsibilities? Grade him? How can I grade him? How can I grade his great? He's been in city council forever. He's been molded since he was a baby to understand the ins and outs of how politics works. I mean, these guys, there was a bill for term limit. What they do, they have a meeting to want to cancel it. They're worrying about money. Yeah, seriously. When you go to have a public discussion, these are public servants. They don't even want that open. They're only running on recognition, name recognition. I'm a Democrat. I'm a Democrat. Vote for me. I've been in the community. Well, that is the problem. The standard is too low. If you've been doing something, I'm a construction man. If I put you on a job and you doing it, you keep failing at it, you're not coming back, Bernie.
That's what I'm talking about.
Exactly, because there's a standard that has to be set. A F. I'll go back to it again. A F. A F. $39 million. That's on tax paper, like my wife and I, because we own things in Baltimore. That's what's coming in
Yeah.
versus state, federal
Hmm.
grant that's coming in the billions. Baltimore is a welfare state.
It is.
I mean, a welfare city. You have billions. You're not even bringing in enough business, enough revenue, but you are giving. They are giving you billions, more than quadruple. But you are showing your leadership can produce as a functioning government, as an adult government, and you still can't get investors to come in. You still can lower the crime rate. You still can be consistent. Oh, we're going to put a curfew. That's because the Republicans stood up. So we're going to show we are tough. Oh, no, that's not. We forgot. That's not our platform. Cancel that. Suspend that curfew because we can't do it. The
Wow.
street, the people don't respect you as a lead or ship. The ship is sinking, and these people already have lifeboats.
Yes.
That's the simplest way I can put it. You want to be a captain on the ship, and you did not put orders in place for that ship to get from one destination to the next successfully. And the ship starts sinking. Now you have your customers on the ship, and you take a lifeboat and start drifting away while you're watching the ship.
Mm.
That's that man grade. That's what I grade him. And I'm not saying this just for political punchline. I'm saying that because they made me. I had to take. I'm a hip hop dude. You see, Blind Money is a conservative thing. I make this thing look cool. I just took what I knew because I was dissatisfied, a dissatisfied customer. And
Hmm.
I said, you know what? Since y'all don't want to do it, and I see y'all one on one, you have no intention of changing anything.
No, they don't.
So I'm gonna do it myself. So we got to be a virus. He's a F. He's a F. He's a F.
Eugene, I got another question for you.
Come on, keep it coming.
All right, now, actually, you're going to like this one. Talk to the people. Tell them what's on your mind. I'm not going to, just free form, be Eugene. I'm going to be quiet for a little bit.
Oh no. So one of the things is okay. So me and you, friend of mine, when we get to know each other more and more, we in the same type circle there. We have a civil war that we are fighting within, you know, and that do needs to be addressed. But I want the Republican Party on my side. Before I speak to the other side, because I already picked my side in this war, I just want to give a message to the other side. New Republican is just saying new mindset. There's a toxicity that's out there that is very poisoning. And the same method that a lot of these, I call them social Republican, and I'm sorry, I don't want to be disrespectful, but when you see that, these social gatherings, it's like, okay, there are real life people that are out here. And you put your name on that ticket to say, I want to be that lead or ship, I just want to make sure that you're leading that ship in the right direction that stands on our principle. Three main ones that this Republican Party we have to go back to. Where is your faith in God? Number one, above all things. What is your faith in family? I'm watching you. Are you single? Are you this, that? Do you have a strong value, strong perspective, strong argument on why family is important? What is your stance on country? Look, this country may not be perfect. We can go up and down about this country. But guess what? One flag I see. I was born in Liberia. Now, once have you ever seen a Liberian flag up there? Because you know what? You're a military man. There's a code called honor.
Mm-hmm.
When you take an oath, when I was set on Baltimore City Committee, I took an oath. When I took that oath, I took that oath for to be the best person I could be to represent that core value and give a hell of a fight as a Republican. That was the voting style as a Republican. But I took an oath. So I want to know, people, what is your oath to us, this country? Because we have our differences, but I don't care to know about your sexuality. I don't want to see a flag on that. I don't care to know about, I want to see how strong are you on protecting those principles. That's number one. So Bernie, I believe when I tell people I'm out here far right because I know marketing. So not anybody can sell me the crap. They can't tell me, oh, you a token. Token and why? Y'all party, when we talking about the Democrats now, their party is the one the same that they can't get from underneath of the white man. They're they're dependent. I'm not. I'm not dependent. Bernie, you looking at back here, who built this? I did.
I love that
My
flag
son.
back there too.
Oh yeah, yeah, yeah. That's from Senator Selling.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, Johnny, a good friend of mine. And my wife got that for me, on one of my birthday things. So that's a good thing.
Love it.
But anyway, the when we start, and I'm just breaking down the talking point as a black conservative on that side, where they like to shoot us down.
Mm-hmm.
As when you talking about token, many that's I give them the name tap dancer. That means that whenever the liberal put on the music, you a tap dance to it. You're not independent. I built this. I built this. I have a place called Boikai Land. I don't have a
Mm-hmm.
boycott house or a boycott acre. This is boycott land, far right on top of the mountain. I work hard for that. While people staying home, wife and I was out there and we moved out here. This is far right because I
Mm-hmm.
know it's safe out here. I'm building everything up here. We up here by ourselves, Bernie. We building. So
Mm-hmm.
who's talking? I'm not depending on the white man to come here and do this for me. Who's talking? They're talking. Then you start talking about Uncle Tom. Really, is Uncle Tom own something? A lot of
Mm-hmm.
them don't know how to be own nothing. And we need to start having these conversations. So we need strong opposition. When they say they far left, I'm far right. I want to put their value, and that's on every level, black and white, Bernie. I'm saying this when I say far right, my value, my principle is way better than yours. I'm not sugarcoating. I say it is way better than yours on any level. I'm far right. What do that mean? Three major principles: God, family, country. Eugene Boikai, 5 kids. None of them ever been born out of wedlock. You see the ring right here.
I love it.
Family structure. God, the same city that my house did not have an occupancy. I was homeless, Bernie. Everything I worked for my whole life, Democrats, oh man, they broke me down. But God kept me of faith. And I'm
Mm-hmm.
not ashamed. And I told people 2804 Beachland Avenue, I stood in there and I was so beaten by the world. I took a gun, Bernie, and I was about to blow my heads up. That's how
Ooh.
sometimes when you're so passionate, when they underestimate a father's love.
Mm-hmm.
Everybody want to talk about, don't write this post about gay people and stuff because, oh, it can trigger suicide. But at the same time, Bernie, what about all the times men get beaten because we love? We are the one in the basement. The fight is so freaking underrated because we love so heavy. I'm in the basement about to take my life. I don't
Wow.
count. Yeah. So God
Wow.
brought me on that. That's why I have a strong faith in God. And
Mm-hmm.
I do not compromise on that. I'm able to walk in any neighborhood knowing that I'm safe because there's nothing else the world can do to me. My life is just an add on. I can't be bought out. I believe in God. Then you talk about country. This country, I mean, come on now. I live in my generation, Bernie. My wife and I, she as white as you can get. And I'm as black as you can get. But guess what? There's no law that's saying that we can't. The only laws is people' personal opinion. But the whole point is this country has provided it. I don't know what the founding fathers, if their level of prejudice, if I don't care.
Don't
I
care.
embrace that they put in a document that gave me this opportunity. One generation of African born, a son can fulfill his father and his mother journey. What my father couldn't do. This country, Bernie, this country, this great United States of America that I grew up with. I've been on this soil since I was 1.5 years of age. Every opportunity others have, I've been given it. What's the difference? Mindset. So country, I love this country to death. So no, I've been going on
No, that's
this,
all right.
you
I'm the
know.
one that asked you to talk. You know
Oh
I
yeah,
enjoy here our little
it's
conversation.
gonna be cut, 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 cut.
No, 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 not in your case. So, look, I got another question for you. How can people
I'm
reach you if they need to?
You can reach me right now. I'm one of those reserved people. I just do one platform. That's Facebook. You
Okay.
know, through Facebook, a lot of people. You can message me. You can send whatever. You know, that's the main place, and that's Eugene Boikai on Facebook. Just look up Eugene Boikai. But
Mm-hmm.
one of the rules that I do set, honestly, I don't do, I know where I stand. I'm not a big fan of let's sit down with the demo rats. So I don't, so I don't really have that. There's no talking point between them and I on that. So if you come through, make sure you want to have a conversation and a sit down, that's fine. But that's my platform there. That's Eugene Boycott Private Platform. You can reach me there.
Outstanding. Eugene, you are a man of the people, just like Chris and just like some of the other people we have interviewed on our show. And I'm just proud to have a chance to conversate with you. And we're going to have you back as soon as we possibly can. How about
Oh,
that?
yes, and whenever you get the chance when you start doing the program, hey, bring some of them rats on so we can I'm gonna have a good debate with one of those. This thing is like I told you, I do feel our principle and our value are better. I'm not in the middle. And anything in the middle can swing either way. I'm not in the middle. I think I'm better. So I will challenge anybody if they're a Democrat that comes on there, and I'm gonna be respectful. There's Democrats and there's Demrats and stuff. So yeah, so any Democrat that actually want to have a debate on policies, oh man, I really want that smoke. I'm telling them, I want that smoke. Let's sit down and see if you can have a logical conversation with me, a straight black man, without using the word systemic, systemic.
All right. You are something else, but you have never told me a lie in the time that I've known you, Eugene. So thank you for being on my show.
You too, man. Thank you for having me, sir.
Outstanding.
Burn.
See you soon. Well, that's about it for now. This has been the Loyal Opposition Podcast, produced in association with Liberty Arise Media and other podcasters. I ask that you like, share, and subscribe to this podcast and to this channel. Be sure to get your copy of my new book, Black Values Matter, available on Amazon or as an ebook on Audible or on Apple Books. And also, it's okay to disagree, but if we want our country to prosper, we must insist on unity, transparency, and civility from ourselves and from our fellow citizens. Thanks for listening to the Loyal Opposition Podcast. See you next week.